Hi, I'm Andrea, and welcome to SmartSocial MomTalk.
And I'm Beth, and Andrea and I are colleagues at SmartSocial, and we are both moms. So we love coming together on Mom Talk podcast just to chat about what's going on in our lives as moms, especially around the technology and our kids being online in this crazy world that we live in today. And especially coming from what we are doing with SmartSocial and researching all the topics that you, our SmartSocial listeners and our VIP members and our parents are telling us that you want to know more about. So we put out lots of resources every week, but Andrea and I like just chatting about it from the mom perspective too. So what's new with you? It's been a while since we've done a mom talk. We have been very busy with all of our resources recently. So let's just chat for a little bit. What's new with you?
Yeah. So I decided something the other day. I realized that I was spending just silly time on my phone, specifically on Instagram. I would just kind of pick it up and browse through or go through the reels, just kind of wasting time, not really getting anything from it at all. I decided that I was going to just remove it from my phone for a while and kind of just take a detox from it. And I've been doing it for like the last week and I feel so much better. Like, I don't feel like I just have this like compulsion to pick up my phone as much. I mean, I still do sometimes, but I don't feel it as much as I used to. And it's just not there, just waiting to just help with boredom. This is so silly. I'm, a middle-aged woman, but I was like truly feeling the comparison game. And with the holidays coming up, I wanted to just step back from that. And I feel like it was not helping my expectations on life, if that makes sense. I felt like it was kind of putting this pressure on me to have like this perfect house and this perfect life. And we do perfect things with our families and take these great pictures. But it's not real. I'm not really enjoying it's making me not enjoy things, enjoy my own house and just be happy with what I have. There's obviously things I need to work through there on my own anyway, but if I could just get rid of this for a while and take a break from it, I think that will help. And I do. I feel like it's just kind of helping clear out my brain a little bit.
That's good. I think all of us can use a little bit of clearing out our brains every once in a while. So if that's what was distracting you, I think that's awesome. I think it's great that you recognized it for yourself.
There are replacements, but yeah, I'm hoping that just kind of helps a little bit, especially, I mean, we're recording this in December and Christmas is right around the corner. My kids will be off school next week. And I just really want to be able to spend time with them and focus on them and not think, "Ooh, any new reels out?" or.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. No, that's good. And I think you're setting a great example for your kids too. Tell them this is how I felt and this is what I'm doing and keep telling them about what's going on. I think that's a good example that a lot of our kids need.
definitely. Because I feel like if I can struggle with that, then a teenager for sure who has a lot less self-control is definitely got to be a struggle for them as well. So, yes, trying to talk about it and see how it goes.
Electronics and our devices know how to get us hooked. I mean, that's their business, and that's what keeps them in business is keeping us coming back for more, whether it's social media, whether it's even just a news feed, video
Mhm.
games. There's lots of things out there that are drawing our attention. So it's a life lesson for all of us, whether you're 13, mom, not
Right.
13.
No, not 13. Thank goodness.
Yes. Yes. So in our house, we realized that um, we have been really good at screen time reports on our Nintendo Switch. And when we purchased the Nintendo Switch a few years ago, immediately we set up those parental controls on it. My husband and I both have the apps on our phones. It's a very strict schedule. The kids know it. It turns off on its own. It's just such an easy thing to use.
Mhm.
Recently, the kids' preference on video games has turned to Xbox. And I realized that that is because we did not have parental controls set up on it. So there have been no time limits other than me yelling at them. How long have you been on? It's time to get off. And it's really sweet because they're playing games together. One has a tablet and then one is on the Xbox and they're interacting with each other. And it's been really fun to watch them bond. And then I just kind of hit my limit a couple weeks ago and said, we need a break from this. And that didn't go very well. So we are working through the Xbox. There are parental controls through Xbox, but I'm confused. I will be
Right.
honest that even though we go through a lot of these parental controls for a lot of apps, this one has got me pretty stumped. So part of it is just knowing the login information because the Xbox was my husband. So it's on his email address that he never uses. So even he had to go through the whole password reset and then didn't know how to get into the email. It was just a mess there. And then what are they logging in on? We should have written these down a long time ago, saved our passwords, saved our usernames, saved their passwords, saved their usernames in the games. It's just kind of been an awakening for me of we had it for one device. It was beautiful. And then they moved to something else. And I needed to take those steps to do it. So it's a work in progress. I will not say we have fixed this in our house yet,
Okay.
but at least with a Google Wi-Fi system, I can shut down the internet on the Xbox through that. So there's different ways to do it.
Mhm.
It's just not as nice of a program yet as the Nintendo was when we set it up with that intention from the very beginning.
Well, and I think Nintendo caters more towards families and younger kids, whereas Xbox, really, you have, I mean, like you said, your husband, it was his account, like he was using it. A lot of adults are using things like Xbox and PlayStation. So I think that's different audience in mind, maybe part of it.
Yeah. And it's out there. We have 2 apps from Microsoft's Xbox. That's part of the confusion is which one do we need?
Uh,
So I promise we will work through it. And then I will report back in the new year after our winter
Yeah.
break how to do it. Because I feel like if I go through these things all the time with Smart Social and it's stumping me, other
Mhm.
parents need some resources to help with it too. Because my kids aren't the only ones playing on their dad's Xbox. So
No, well, and now, and 'tis the season, right? This is the season where kids are going to be getting new Xboxes and new PlayStations, and we all kind of need that reminder that there are controls out there. Sometimes they are not as easy and parent friendly as we want them to be, but stick with it and it'll help you as a parent, control how long your kids are playing and maybe eventually relieve some of the frustration.
yeah, that is the goal. Definitely the goal. Which is why I love coming on Mom Talk and chatting with you and just being honest with our listeners that we don't know it all. We're moms. We've got some really good experiences and really good backgrounds and really good resources. But, I like you said, you comparing yourself on Instagram, I want to compare myself to other moms that I feel like have it all under control and already have all these set. And that's life. It doesn't just come done. So we have to take the time to figure it out and do it. And I think that's why I love working with Smart Social is that I get to help other moms through my own struggles and figure things out. So none of us are perfect. We're all working through it.
It's a
And we know,
journey.
yes, it's a journey. And we have been really great at developing our content calendar for Smart Social around the topics that we feel like families are experiencing based on the time of the year. So this month has been a lot about our family media agreement. That was our big topic for beginning of December, end of November. And then this week and next week and the next couple weeks as well, we're rolling out even more resources about parental controls for Apple, Androids, and then some more about Google, especially their family link. And then through the Google Play Store, they have some different settings in there. So we know that a lot of families are bringing in new devices this time of year, or kids are coming home for winter break, and then we'll have more time to kill. So there's even more screen time issues. So I really just hope that all of our topics in the month of December are going to help figure this out. Hopefully, as soon as you introduce a device, these parental controls, you've already figured it out and they're ready to go because it's so much easier to start with it than to kind of rewind.
Definitely. Yes, both from the device standpoint and from, dealing and communicating and setting expectations with your kids. Totally doable after the fact, but it is a lot easier to start off something that way with certain expectations rather than it be a free for all. And then you have to back it up a few weeks later, months, years, maybe even. You're like, wait, no, 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 no. We need some limits.
Yes. So let's take a really quick break and then we'll come back. And how about we go through the family media agreement in a little bit more detail? We spent a lot of time revising this. We hope to have lots of different options for families. So we'll come back and we'll go through that a little bit more.
Okay.
You're listening to the SmartSocial.com podcast. Each week, we help parents and educators keep students safe on social media so they can someday shine online. Make sure you join our newsletter to get the most up-to-date social media alerts at smartsocial.com/newsletter. Every Tuesday and Thursday, we send out the latest social media app resources that help parents and educators to navigate this challenging landscape with their students. Now let's get to the program.
All right, we are back and we want to scroll through and talk about our family media bug guide and agreement templates. So this resource is free for anybody because we really feel like creating a family media agreement is the basis of starting a dialogue and starting any type of expectations with our kids about technology in our lives. So it's a free resource for anybody that is looking for a template. And we give you not just a template, but ideas of how to have the conversations. And that is a plural conversations because none of this is going to happen by itself. So Andrea, do you want to tell us a little bit about what folks will find on this page?
Yeah. So Beth and I both kind of went through this as moms and we said, what do we want? Like, what are our issues when we're dealing with our kids and their devices? What are potential issues that could come up as they get older and start to get more access to the internet and to phones and just all the different ways that they can use technology? So we tried to really keep that in mind. And we tried to make it as user friendly as possible. There are parts of it that are kind of lengthy, but it is thorough and it will really, I think, help parents dial in on the exact conversations that you need to be having with your kid on all of the different topics that you maybe didn't ever consider before. So the first page of it is kind of like an overview of all the different technology that we have and that you have in your family. And then from there on out, there are specific agreements, one that deals directly with screen time, one that deals directly with family communication and device care, which a lot of times, you don't think about like who pays for this? What happens if damage comes to it? Or, how are you just going to leave it on a charger? All of these different things to consider. And then after that, we have one about video games and then one about social media specifically.
Yeah. And we really tried to break these down into all the different types of internet connected devices that our kids are using. I think it's a little tempting to just say everything falls into screen time and we're going to use the same rules for everything. But that just doesn't really work when you are comparing something like social media to video games to just taking care of your phone or screen time in general, because screen time could be an individual issue or they go from screen to screen and that's still an issue. So, like Andrea said that, yeah, this is a long document and this is a template that we provide you in the resource at smartsocial.com, that it's a Google document. So when you click on any of these links, they're throughout this whole page, can't miss it. Access the Smart Social Family Media Agreement templates. It will open a Google Doc. When you are logged into your own Google account, you can then save this as your own in your own Google Drive, and then you can edit it as much as you would like. So you can take out every section other than screen time if that's how your family wants to do it, or you can add to the different lines and the different tips that we have. There's lots of fill in the blanks for students and parents, and that's one of the big tips that we included this time around in editing this resource, is that we really feel like students want to have a say in any type of expectations, especially when they're saying, I want to use devices, and parents may not understand exactly why they want to use these devices. We need to start listening to them and we need to start hearing what their ideas are and then helping everybody in the family come to the same expectations. So we hope that when you start with this guide, you will print out this or save it for you and one for your student. And then each of you can go through it individually and then come together to start the conversation so that everybody feels like they get a chance to have a say.
Yeah. Because sometimes, we don't want our teens or our kids to come from a place on the defense. We want them to come willing to cooperate and work this out because everyone wins in the end is really how we see it. So we want them to be able to really help come up with that plan and not just react to us, to parents, setting rules and boundaries. We don't want it to feel that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And if parents who need a little bit of encouragement to help your students, one of the resources that we have in a lot of our resources, including this one now, is hearing from students about what they think about the topic. So if you have a teenager, I think we even have kind of a preteen in the video on this one, and they want to hear from somebody else their own age, other than mom and dad just telling them, here, sit down, let's do this. Here's a video that they can watch. It's 8 minutes. They go through a whole bunch of different questions about how they've experienced their phones. And I think one of them admits that they have made mistakes of how they've used their devices and what they've done. And then what do they wish parents understood? And that might help start your students along the lines of thinking of what do they want you to know about how they're using their devices and what type of expectations they need help with. So that video is on this page. We also have two videos that are very family friendly. So these are absolutely something that you can sit down and watch with your family. The first one at the top of the page is really just kind of tips of why you might want a social media agreement or a screen time agreement with your family. And then this next one is 11-minute video just walking you through each of the different templates, different questions to consider, different tips throughout the whole thing, really just to help your conversations. And again, this is a free resource, so keep coming back to the page, keep watching the videos. You can bookmark this, and then if you get stuck, if you feel frustrated, come back and Andrea and I will walk you through it with these videos right here. One other thing that we have on this page is our experts. So we have three really great experts that talk about really the psychology behind what kids are experiencing on our screens, especially about social media, being online. And they give some really good tips based on their experiences in the field, in social media, in just working with students and teens. So this one is really for parents and educators. It's really directed towards adults to help understand what students are thinking more. So parents, if you need a little bit more encouragement, if you want some more tips, this is a great video to sit down and watch. If you don't have 24 minutes to just sit down and watch it, just keep coming back and watch a small segment at a time. We have some really good chapters here. So if there's one question that you really want to watch, you can jump right to that chapter and get those tips right away.
And I think one of my favorite things that the experts talk about is how it's honestly never too early to start having these conversations and creating an agreement because, as we all know as parents, our kids aren't always the first ones to get access to something. And so just because your child doesn't have social media or, a certain phone or, a certain device, they're going to go to a friend's house and you want them to be prepared because chances are good that that child might have, something that your kid doesn't. So they need to know what their expectations are and how to handle certain situations. And this agreement really, and this dialogue guide really takes you through all of those different conversations to have so that you can best prepare your child.
Absolutely. And these really do come from our personal experiences and hearing from other parents. The one of them that we added to the family communication and device care agreement came from my own experience of I will not knowingly remove, change, or circumvent any controls or monitoring software on my device. I was at Panera with my daughter. We were both kind of doing a working lunch one weekend, and she's sitting directly next to me, and she removed the Google Family link from her phone because now she's 13 and could do that. But she didn't know what it was. We had never had the discussion of this is what this is. This is why I think it's important because she didn't have that choice. But once her birthday hit and she could move it, she just removed it because she could. So it's just things like that that you don't think like, of course, the parental controls are there to keep them safe. Of course, they're going to know that. They don't know that kind of stuff. So it's just helping guide the conversations of what might make sense to mom and dad, might not make sense to sons and our daughters. So all of these are just great starting points of having conversations. You could take them one by one each day. I know how hard it is to talk to preteens and teenagers. Take it one by one if that's what you need. And eventually you will have this rich dialogue that you can always fall back on. And then you can always come back and re-edit it and make it applicable to whatever age they are or whatever's going on in your lives at that time. So it's very much a living document. Make it yours. Just get started and try it. Okay, so that is our family media agreement and dialogue guide. Again, there's a lot in there, but take it step by step, take it piece by piece, and find what works for your family. We include a lot in there because The same thing that works for my family may not work for your family. So we try to give you a whole lot of different ideas. If there is something missing from this document, please reach out and let us know. We love hearing from our listeners. We love hearing from Smart Social VIP families and educators. So reach out and let us know. Just go to smartsocial.com/contact, fill out the form. Our whole team will see it. And Andrea and I just get super excited when we hear from somebody that they heard us on Mom Talk. So yeah, let us know what you think. Let us know if you used it. Let us know if there's something missing, and we'll keep working on it. We'll keep changing and making it better every day.
Yep.
All right. I think that is it for us today. We are hopefully going to have one more episode before the end of the year. So stay tuned to however you download your podcasts and listen to us. And coming up, we will hopefully give you a rundown of all of the resources that we covered in 2022. It's kind of exciting to see everything coming together in one long list of what we have done. We focus very much day by day, week by week, and then just seeing it all together. It's kind of shocking how much we have put out there. So we're going to do our best to summarize it all for you in the next episode. And hopefully, maybe during the winter break, you can take some extra time and go through the resources that your family ultimately needs the most.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Andrea. And we will see you guys all next time.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the SmartSocial.com podcast with this week's topics from Beth and Andrea. If you enjoyed the Mom Talk discussion that we had today about all things social media from a mom's perspective, we invite you to join the SmartSocial.com VIP program. As a very informed parent VIP member, you will learn about the dangers and benefits of social media for your kids and get tips every week to keep your family safe online, and most importantly, to teach your students how to shine online. We have over 130 detailed app guides that cover apps like TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, and 100 plus apps you might not have heard of, but your students may have visited or downloaded. Find out more and join today at smartsocial.com/VIP. Please remember to rate, subscribe, and review so we can continue to help more parents and educators just like you. I'm your host, Josh Oakes. As always, remember to keep it light, bright, and polite. We'll see you on the next episode. Have a great day.